Hey guys, it's Simeon. This is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 25th of May, 2020 to talk about everything that went down tonight on Monday Night Raw. And I enjoyed the show for what I saw. I do have to preface that my internet was going in and out, so I hope it doesn't go in and out while we're doing this review. But I did miss the golf stuff with the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits, so I don't have notes on that because I did miss it. And I did miss the first few minutes of the Andrade Apollo Crews U.S. title match. So I won't have any notes on those two things. Well, I have notes on the U.S. title match, just not the first few minutes of the title match because my internet was going in and out. I do watch the show on the Dish Network app on my Amazon Fire Stick. So we'll see how it all goes. But before we get into tonight's Monday Night Raw, I do have to see who's here with us in the live chat. We do have Eric Tate, George J. Cox, Jack Dawson, Sinclair Saturday, Kristen McNutt, Young Tev, Derek Bocek, Chase Brim, Chris Tube, and so many more of you. So with that, Monday Night Raw. So Monday Night Raw opens up with the same Memorial Day tribute video that we did get last week on SmackDown. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't see Becky in the opening Raw video, like the intro video of the show. Like I said, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I didn't see Becky. We then saw the Performance Center was set up a little different tonight. They have sections of where a crowd is supposed to be. So. They got a crowd. It's NXT wrestlers. And what they did is along the barricade, they put up plexiglass. Then 6 feet, maybe 8 feet back from that, they put up another row of plexiglass. And behind both sets of plexiglass, actually there may be 3 rows. I'm not 100% sure on that. I may have saw 3, but it could only be 2. But behind each row of plexiglass are NXT wrestlers as crowd. I know we saw Caden Carter, Shotzi Blackheart, Malcolm Bivens. I think Simone Johnson was shown as well. So that was really cool that they did that. But here's my issue with it. And this seems very logical and very WWE. I feel like everybody was told how to react and in what way to react because it didn't sound genuine. Everybody seemed to react the exact same way for every single thing. And in turn, at least to me, and others may not think this way, but at least to me, the reactions from the crowd, even though it was an actual crowd, sounded like a laugh track. At least it was to me, because it didn't sound genuine. It didn't sound like people giving their genuine reactions. It sounded like before every match or something, or before every segment, they went out and said, all right, guys, we want you to react like this to this, and like this to this, and like this to that, and like this to that. That's just how it came off to me. I could be 100% wrong in thinking that, but hey, it's what I heard and how I perceived it. Because everything sounded very preset almost. As far as every reaction sounded the same. I don't think I heard any cheers and slight mixed boos, or boos and slight mixed cheers. It was all either boo or yeah. Even when Charlotte raised her hands up in her match, everybody you hear woo, 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 woo. And Charlotte didn't woo. She just raised her hands up and went yeah. So Derek Bocek has a good comment there. The crowd seemed like a video game, a 2K video game. Very true. Again, hence laugh track. Everybody given the same reactions that they want the reactions to be. So the show kicks off with the Kevin Owens show. Kevin Owens said the wrestlers around ringside were the future of this business, particularly the ones wearing KO shirts. And then they gave the one camera, the hard cam, to Jessamyn Duke as she was wearing one of the new Kevin Owens shirts. Owens then introduced his guest, Raw Women's Champion, Asuka. She entered, tried to start a Becky chant, And I don't think I heard one person chant along with her for Becky. And Kevin Owens is like, yeah, cool, you're still chanting for Becky, the man. Or now, the mom. Shirt available for purchase on WWE.com. And we all would like to congratulate her. But I want to congratulate you on being the new Raw Women's Champion, Asuka. And then he said, watch this clip right here from last week. And they showed Asuka and her confrontation, multiple confrontations last week with Nia Jax. So Asuka said that she wasn't happy with Nia. And before she can really say much more, well, actually, she said some stuff in Japanese, and Kevin Owens goes, oh yeah, I agree. And I'm like, what? You don't know what she's saying? They did the same thing when she was on commentary. She would say something, and Byron would be like, yeah, that's right, or I agree with that. Like, really? So Charlotte interrupts, and Owens lets us know, I didn't invite her. She just came out here by herself. I didn't set this up. And Charlotte says she had to get something off her chest. She thought that the Raw Women's Championship should have just been handed over to her. And Charlotte said that Asuka has never been able to beat her. Not at WrestleMania, nor on SmackDown. And Charlotte's technically right. In one-on-one singles match, Charlotte has always got the better of Asuka. Yet, remember, TLC 2018. Asuka won that TLC match to become the SmackDown Women's Champion. But then Charlotte won the title back 2 months later. So, yeah. Out next, Natalya would interrupt. And Kevin Owens literally took his little set pieces and easily got him out of the ring. And he tells Natty, don't worry, I redecorated it ready for you, so you don't have to worry about all that. And Natty said, no, Kevin, I actually want to apologize to you and your KO show crew for my tantrum that I threw last week. Charlotte told Natty to stop sucking up to Kevin Owens because that's not going to help her win. Nia Jax would then finally come interrupt, and everyone booed her after giving Charlotte a good reaction, giving Natty a really good reaction. And then Owens said, you know what? I see what's going to happen here. I might as well just get out here on the apron. And Nia's like, good idea. So Nia gets in the ring. Nia threatened to bulldoze Asuka at Backlash when she becomes the number one contender. Owens sarcastically, like I stated, told Owens then sarcastically told Asuka, hey, don't do anything rash now, like kicking Nia in the face. And then Asuka gave Nia a back handspring, or not a back handspring, what am I thinking of? Twisting back elbow. Then Charlotte and Natty started brawling. Nia and Charlotte continued to... I'm all kinds of twisted up tonight. Sorry about that, guys. Nia and Asuka started brawling. And the segment just ended with them brawling. And I think Natty and Charlotte were separated. So, yeah. Caleb Braxton then interviewed Apollo Crews. He called tonight the greatest night of his professional career because he is going to beat Andrade to become the new United States champion. The announcers are now positioned at ringside instead of up at the top because, well, when they're up at the top, that's where the crowd is now stationed. We then got Apollo Crews versus Andrade with the U.S. title on the line. Excuse me. Like I said, I did miss the first few minutes of this match. I'm going to start this from where I picked up the action. At one point, Andrade hit a double foot stomp off the top. They cut backstage to Angel Garza, who was watching on a screen. Braxton asked him his thoughts on the match, and Garza compared a great match to making love to a woman and explained it in great detail, basically. Andrade then hit a running double knee strike for a 2. Crews then came back with a press slam, standing moonsault, and standing shooting star press for the victory. Like out of nowhere. Kind of an abrupt finish. The audience cheered as Crews celebrated as the new WWE United States Champion. They said that this was Crews' first title win in WWE, which it is. And hey, Good for Apollo Crews. They're finally doing something with the guy. So in the back, Charlie Caruso interviewed Crews. No. In the ring, she interviewed Crews. Sorry about that. Crews said that people close to him doubted him when he said that he wanted to be a WWE wrestler. After 11 years of hard work, dedication, and discipline, he has finally won a championship. After he got hurt, he said, he never quit on himself, and now he can tell the world that he's the new United States champion. Cut to the back, and Andrade basically was throwing a fit, tossing stuff around. So Seth Rollins then cut a promo. Seth Rollins was shown in the back holding a Rey Mysterio mask, which is not even the mask that Rey wore when he fucked his face up. So I'm like, this makes no sense. Why do you got this random purple Rey mask? I don't understand it. After a break, Rollins said tonight was a night of celebration because he is better than he has ever been, and he has Rey Mysterio to thank for that. Rollins says that he was in a dark place after Money in the Bank, but Mysterio presented him with a sacrifice for the greater good. Rollins said that he couldn't imagine the pain that Mysterio and his family went through. He thought about Dominic, who can't even help his father right now. It was that Rey Mysterio's final act in his career. It was a courageous one because it allowed us to move further into the future. Austen, Theory, and Murphy then entered in frame, and Rollins introduced Theory, as his new disciple. Rollins said their ceilings were limitless with his guidance. Murphy said that he needed Rollins' guidance and thanked him. Theory said that he thought he had friends on Monday Night Raw, but then they abandoned him, and he was found by Seth Rollins after that. Theory thanked him. Rollins said that they would make an example of Umberto Carrillo and Alistair Black later on tonight in a tag team match. So Charlie Caruso interviewed Charlotte Flair, who called herself the most consistent and prolific champion in WWE. She raised the bar for every female in the company, and no one compared to her. Asuka danced in front of her while showing off her title. Asuka told Charlotte, "Red is not your color." Okay. Nice little thing. I assume we're going to get Asuka versus Nia or Charlotte, just like we got Asuka versus Bayley. So Peyton Royce apologized to Billie Kay for last week and slapping her. Kay apologized to Royce. Or no. Peyton Royce apologized for losing. Billie Kay apologized for the slap. Kay said that they've come far together. They recalled coming up together, signing their WWE contracts together, and winning tag titles together. They said they never had the opportunity to defend those titles and had opportunities stripped from them. When they did defend their titles, and when they lost their titles, they were defending them in a four-way. They said that they should still be the champions, and they weren't going to let the crazy lady and the Office's favorite blonde hold what's theirs. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross would then enter. Bliss laughed at the favorite blonde comment. Bliss said that they've had plenty of opportunities. Cross began speaking, but the Iconics stopped her and said she wasn't allowed to talk. Cross snapped back and told them that she took the long road to get here. She came a long way from Scotland and scratched and clawed to get where she is. Cross said she and Bliss were the champions. She thanked Bliss for keeping her focused. The Iconics attacked them, and the audience booed. They launched Bliss shoulder first into the post and gave Cross their double team finisher. The Iconics then stood there as if they were going to get yet another shot at the tag titles. So we'll see where this goes. I saw something in the chat. Chris Gomez says, "Who won the NASCAR championship?" Well, you can't win a championship when you haven't even gotten a quarter of the way through the season. But if you're asking about the Xfinity race tonight, Kyle Busch won in Charlotte. So Lana approached MVP in the back. She stared him down for a moment and said, "We need to talk." He replied, "No, we don't." He then left. They then aired the tribute graphic for Shad Gaspard, and we got the VIP lounge. So MVP let the trainees around ringside know that their tabs were on him tonight. He invited McIntyre down to the ring. McIntyre came out and tossed his furniture around. McIntyre wanted to know where Bobby Lashley was. MVP said not to worry about Lashley. MVP wanted McIntyre to recall the last time he was in the VIP lounge. MVP had an offer for him, and McIntyre knocked him out. MVP knew that McIntyre would go on to become the WWE champion. MVP also knew that he wanted to be responsible for him losing the title. MVP said Lashley was finally getting a title shot after 13 years, and it was all because of him. McIntyre said it took him 19 years to get this opportunity. Not only did he win the title, but he beat Brock Lesnar in 5 minutes. McIntyre said that Lashley could take the belt out from his cold, dead hands. MVP said, well, that can be arranged. Lashley then marched out, but before he can get into the ring, McIntyre wiped out MVP with a Claymore kick. Lashley helped MVP as McIntyre dared him to get in the ring. Lashley then left with MVP, and this was actually really good. MVP has been doing some, I almost want to say, phenomenal stuff since he's been back, and he doesn't need to wrestle all the time. He's been wrestling more than I expected, but his promo work has been just top-notch. Just top-notch. MVP is a phenomenal talker. So, Charlie Caruso attempted to interview Natalya about her upcoming match tonight when she had to stop the interview because she got a phone call. The call was from her husband, Tyson Kidd. Natty's told a TJ that she apologized for her tantrum, and it was all she could do. She then told him she didn't have time for this because she had a match later. Natalya returned to Caruso, but, well, they were out of time for the interview. And they played this up later, asking if Natalya is actually really focused because, well, instead of focusing on the task at hand in her job tonight, she took that phone call instead of doing the interview. Next up, we got Angel Garza versus Kevin Owens. Garza attacked Owens during his entrance and attacked his left knee. After a commercial break, the match started after Owens demanded the referee ring the bell. He said he's good to go and he wanted the match to start. Garza immediately drop-kicked the knee and worked it over from there. Owens hit a DDT and made a comeback, but pulled up. I wrote this wrong. Owens hit a DDT and made a comeback, but then when he went to hit the cannonball, really didn't get much of it. It's like he couldn't launch himself enough because of that hurt knee. Garza then hit him with a super kick for a 2. Owens headbutted Garza off the top and hit a senton. Owens went for a pop-up powerbomb, but his knee buckled, and Garza slipped out and hit the wing clipper. Relatively quick match. It was like 3.5 minutes, and Garza actually defeated Kevin Owens. Some of the wrestlers in the audience appeared stunned and confused with this what's the word I'm looking for, result. Garza attacked Owens again after the match. The announcers called this the biggest win of Angel Garza's career. So I guess a random Raw match against Kevin Owens is bigger than winning the Cruiserweight Championship. I wouldn't say that. So I believe this is when they did the Street Profits Viking Raiders golf stuff, but I didn't see it because, like I stated, I was watching via the Dish Network app. My internet went out, and when the app came back on and everything came back on, I couldn't rewind because I can rewind if I was watching continuously, but I can only rewind as far back as where I started watching, and I started watching right when Murphy and Theory were making their entrance, so I couldn't go back and see the golf stuff. I saw they sent it to the golf course or whatever, and then it went out. So if I did miss anything else as well in that time period, I do apologize for not getting that in the review. So like I said, the next thing up was Murphy and Austen Theory against Umberto Carrillo and Alistair Black. I thought this match would get more time than it did. It was sub 5 minutes, maybe 4.5. Black hit a series of strikes on both opponents and tagged in Carrillo. Murphy chucked Black off the top. Carrillo went for a moonsault but landed on his feet when they saw Theory roll away. Carrillo kicked Murphy off the apron, and Theory gave Carrillo an ATL for the pinfall victory. Again, like I stated, pretty quick victory. Antonio Banks says, KO is a former Universal Champion, so a win over him is bigger than winning the NXT Cruiserweight title. I don't know about that. Because Kevin Owens hasn't been a champion in like 3 years. Hasn't been, it's been a while since he's been a champion. So it's like, yeah, you'll beat a top star. But how many people have beat Kevin Owens and they didn't say, well, that's the biggest winner of their career because they beat Kevin Owens? You know what I'm saying? I in my opinion, and your opinion is yours and rightfully yours, and you're great, what's the word I'm looking for? You're allowed to have your own opinion, I guess I should say. You know, everyone's allowed to have their own opinion, but to me, I just feel like winning the Cruiserweight Championship was better than winning a random match on Raw against Kevin Owens. Just my opinion. Your opinion is your opinion. So after the match, Murphy and Theory grabbed Carrillo, and Rollins directed them to bring him over to the steps. They held him face first, almost eye to the corner, and Black grabbed a steel chair and jumped back in the ring, and Rollins said, don't do anything. You take one more step towards us, and he loses an eye. Black basically froze. Then he said, drop the chair, or he loses an eye. So he drops the chair. Rollins has said, get the chair out of the ring, or he loses an eye. He got the chair out of the ring. He then said, I can take you guys out like I took out Rey Mysterio, and I don't want to have to do that. We already sacrificed Rey. He then told them to drop Carrillo, and they all walked off. Black then checked on Umberto after the fact. Next up, Edge cut a sit-down promo in the back. Edge said Randy Orton caught him flat-footed and tongue-tied on Raw a few weeks ago. He said that doesn't happen often, and now he found himself doubting his abilities. Edge said that he's been out of action for 3,212 days. And in that time, Orton competed in 1,126 matches. He's like, I did my research. Edge thanked Orton for making him want to prove himself to himself. Orton then challenged him, or after Orton challenged him, he went home and watched the Last Ride documentary that he makes cameos in. He said he watched himself in the documentary pontificate about hanging it up, and Undertaker maybe not knowing when to hang it up. And he said, am I doing the same thing? He said Orton was doubting his wrestling ability, but Edge has hung out with guys like The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Owen Hart, Mr. Perfect, Christian, William Regal, and Davey Boy Smith, and has seen some of the best. He said the list goes on. He adapted to every style that he's ever wrestled against and brought guys up to his level. He was a 5-tool workhorse, he said. Edge admitted that everything he just said was in the past, though. He didn't know if he could do those things anymore. But at Backlash, he would dig deep down into the depths of his soul and try, where he said, and I quote, it's all a man can do. So Viking Raiders caught up with the Street Profits backstage. They were still wearing their golf stuff. Raiders said that they let the Street Profits win just like at basketball. Montez Ford kind of got pissed about this. And he's like, bro, we're not doing that again. No. He's like, you guys make the challenge straight up. Straight up. No letting people win. No excuses. No nothing. We'll see who's better. And Ivar said, anything? He's like, anything. He's like, how about Gator Ret? And Angelo Dawkins goes, oh, no, fam. I said anything but Gator wrestling. And Ford was like, yeah, smart man. Anything but Gator wrestling. So then Eric basically goes, you two ever bowl? And they're like, bowl? Bowling? Bowl? And so I guess we're getting bowling next week because the Viking Raiders walked off. After the Viking Raiders left, MVP and Lashley would approach the Street Profits. MVP basically called them a joke and a waste of talent and a waste of champions. Ford mocked MVP and Bobby Lashley and then challenged them to a tag team match later on tonight. We then got a triple threat match. Winner goes on to Backlash to challenge Asuka for the championship, and Asuka was on commentary here. This match went 15 minutes, but I thought it was actually really, really good. So the fight slipped to the outside very early, where Natalya and Charlotte teamed up on Nia. They very carefully at one point got Nia up on their shoulders and very carefully walked over to the announce table with Nia on their shoulders and powerbombed her through it. We then go to break. After the break, Natalya and Charlotte collided with a crossbody attempt. Asuka shoved Nia back into the ring. And then Nia was basically fine from here. Natalya applied the armbar, but Jax picked her up and hit her with a one-armed powerbomb. Charlotte tried to steal the pin, but only got a 2. Charlotte then hit/kind of missed a moonsault for a 2. They actually showed a replay despite the miss. Charlotte attacked the knee of Nia Jax and applied the figure 4, but Natty broke it up. Natalya put Charlotte in the sharpshooter, but Jax eventually broke it up. Charlotte booted Jax, but Natalya broke up a cover. They did a Tower of Doom spot with Natty powerbombing Jax and Jax suplexing Charlotte. After a few more traded pinfalls, Charlotte put Natty in the figure 8, and Nia Jax leg dropped her to have her break the hold. Jax then gave Natty a Samoan drop and picked up the victory, so Nia Jax will be challenging Asuka at Money in the Bank, at Backlash for the Raw Women's Championship. I thought exactly how it was going to go. Charlotte was going to look good in the match, and Nia would beat Natty. In the back, Kayla Braxton caught up with Drew McIntyre, who said he was actually getting ready to leave. He said that it felt good to Claymore kick MVP, and she goes, well, that's not what I'm here to ask you. Did you know that MVP and Lashley are facing the Street Profits later? And he said, oh, no, I did not. I think I may have forgot something back in the locker room that I may not be able to find till after Lashley's match. I'm going to have to go. The announcers then reminded us that Rob Gronkowski is the 24/7 champion, and R-Truth plans to take that from him and gave us an update today on social media. R-Truth basically said that R-Truth basically said that Gronk is the new champion, and he thinks Gronk pinned Tom Brady to win the title. He then said, I don't care how many football men I have to go through to get to you, Robin Gronkowski. I'm going to get you and your football men. Gronk then cut a promo, which was not that good. It looked like he was inside the PC and like they filmed this weeks ago, but I don't know. But this sounded like those kids with a YouTube channel that think that every time they talk, they have to cut a promo, and they're always cringy. And this, I didn't like at all. Gronk said, hey, R-Truth, our lies. I'm like, oh, here we go. He warned him that he was ready for any challenge. Gronk said that you can come at me from any angle because I have eyes in the back of his head. Then he took his sunglasses and put them behind his head. You know, he did this deal. And he put them back behind his head. Kayla Braxton then asked MVP why on earth he'd want to fight the tag team champions. He pointed at Lashley and said, that's why. They then aired a Ric Flair promo talking about the greatest wrestling match ever coming up at Backlash, where he basically said that he expects Randy Orton to come out victorious. Rick was yelling and screaming all kinds of Ric Flair here, out of breath in 2 seconds, and yeah. Cool. There was a Liv Morgan sit-down promo. She said her biggest stumbling blocks in life was her own self-worth, not knowing what it was. She couldn't remember a time thinking she was ever good enough. Even at 6 years old, she wondered, what is this thing about life, and what does it all mean? She finally figured it out when she got her first gear when she signed with WWE that had her name on it. She still didn't have all the answers, but she would fulfill what she did, what was her destiny. She said, I'm living my best life. And I think it was either Joe or Byron said that she's going to be a future champion. Okay. So then they announced that next week Alistair Black would be taking on Seth Rollins. And then the announcers were shocked when another graphic for next week appeared on the screen, and it said Rey Mysterio retirement ceremony. Again, they sounded shocked, and we're like, oh. Also next week, we will be getting a retirement ceremony for a Rey Mysterio. And they really didn't know much more to say. We then got the main event, about an 11, 12-minute match. It was the Raw Tag Team Champions of the Street Profits against Bobby Lashley and MVP. Lashley drove Ford into the post early, and his team remained in control throughout a break. After a while, Ford dodged MVP's running boot and made the hot tag to Dawkins, who gave MVP a spinning back elbow, spinning splash, and a bulldog. Ford also drove Lashley into the barricade. Dawkins gave MVP a spine buster, and Ford followed this up with the frog splash. But before Ford could apply the cover, Lashley pushed Dawkins into the post and put Ford in the full Nelson. Lashley, who was not the legal man, did not break at the 5, and the ref called for the DQ. This then prompted Mcintyre to run out. He brawled with Lashley. The ref couldn't stop them, so he asked for help from the wrestlers in the crowd. 2 men came out from behind the plexiglass, and, well, they got beat down. The referee then called for more help, and finally he got enough wrestlers to hold the 2 men apart as the show went off the air. I thought it was a cool little pull apart, a cool way to use the wrestlers in the crowd as well. I thought that was really different than what we've seen from these wrestlers in the crowd thing before. So we'll see how it all does go. Kristen McNutt with this super chat donation. She says, this is so Matt Hardy MVP all over again. Basically. Also, we do have a few text messages here. If I can get it to load. Let's see. This one here says, come on. Remember, if you want to give me your thoughts on tonight's Monday Night Raw, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. This person says, is Asuka considered a face now? Pretty much. The person said, the crowd tonight was just fine. It was just wrestlers watching wrestling and enjoying it. Everybody's just nitpicking. Again, it was just, yeah, I can say it's a nitpick, but it's just how I perceived it. Person said, what's your thoughts on Young Bucks mock WWE idea to do the Revival and Marty Scurll cameo on AEW? I thought it was stupid as all hell. Seth Rollins is a good heel, this person says. Very true. Person says, Tim, keep up the good work. And the question for you is, still think Cross and Bliss are holding on to the women's tag team titles till SummerSlam? And do you think Asuka retains till SummerSlam with the Raw women's title? Yes and yes. And this person says, is Rey Mysterio really retiring? I don't think so. If it was me, I would have this be like a Seth Rollins thing where he's holding a retirement ceremony for Rey, and then it ends up with Rey challenging him to a match at Backlash. That's how I would do it. But with that, that's going to wrap up this Monday Night Raw review. I want to say thank you guys for joining me here tonight to talk about Monday Night Raw. I want to thank everybody who watches live, and I want to thank everybody who watches later right here on YouTube. You can follow us on social media. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Follow us on Twitter at PW Unlimited. And follow us on Instagram. Just search Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at Timmy Buddy. And you can also follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Timmy Buddy. So with that, guys, have a great night, and we'll see you next time.